Afternoon to Ali Daruwala, who's a spokesperson of the BJP, with us on the broadcast, along with Dr. Ajay Alok, also a political analyst there. Saleem Dharanindranathan is a spokesperson of the DMK with us. Professor P.K. Basu with us here in our studios in Delhi. Ashish Vaknakar is a founder and the CEO of Poised Capital. And before we go to the politicians, the netas, let's quickly get the Economist to quickly summarize what has happened so far, and then we'll get our political panel. So, PK, to you first. All through this morning, you've been talking of the fact that this is a budget that really not just propels growth, it has something for everyone. Like the Prime Minister said, this is an aspirational budget for an aspirational India. How would you summarize it?
Yeah, I think it takes care of everybody in the country, if that's at all possible. It provides a lot of support to the last person, the person left behind. It has allocations for the Northeast, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. And apart from that, it also has a 33% increase in CapEx. That's the second consecutive year in which we've had this enormous increase in CapEx, now taken to 10 lakh crores. And in addition to that, despite meeting all of these targets of trying to generate faster economic growth, it also lowers the fiscal deficit. In fact, the 5.9% of GDP fiscal deficit target for FY24 is, I think, rather conservative, because this year alone, I think, we're likely to get to closer to 5.9 or even lower as a percent of GDP, given the buoyancy in tax revenues. Corporate tax, income tax, and GST revenues remain extremely strong and buoyant. And as a consequence, there's a lot of headroom that the finance minister had, and she's used that headroom to provide tax relief to all income taxpayers. All income taxpayers will see their rates of taxation reduced, and particularly if they are using the new tax regime. So it's really, and all of this has happened without any populist schemes whatsoever. So essentially, there is support for the entire economy, for all sections of society, but while remaining fiscally prudent. Right? This is remarkable. If you compare it to the rest of the world during the COVID crisis, India was perhaps the most fiscally prudent of any economy in the world. And the benefits of that are coming through now. So if you look at India's external debt to GDP, it was 24% in March 2014. It's now down to 19% of GDP. So external debt has been reduced. Corporates have deleveraged. Banks have deleveraged. So those are all signs of prudence, national prudence. And now that we've been prudent over this long period, deleveraged, improved balance sheets for the corporates as well as the banks, the entire economy is now poised to see a strong recovery, led by that public investment push. So we've got public investment coming through. I think now private investment is also beginning to come through in the last 6 months, as evident in capital goods output and imports both growing more than 15% year on year. As a consequence, we now have the basis of a sustained strengthening of the recovery.
I think, PK, you've touched almost all the essentials that had to be tick-marked. I also do welcome our colleague Abhishek into this entire conversation, who wears multiple hats, not just, he's our best man to go to when it comes to politics, also to economics. And Abhishek, with your permission,